to Nubian Queen Talk Show, where we share our truths, tell our stories, and discuss our journey while inspiring others to be who God has called them to be unapologetically. Allow us to introduce the amazing host, Queen Yolanda Mitchell. Welcome to Nubian Queen Talk Show, where we tell our story, speak our truth, and talk about our journey. Well, tonight we have a beautiful guest that's going to really give us some deep information. Y'all just got to be ready. So I will encourage you on tonight to go ahead and share this video on tonight. Y'all know how we do it on Nubian Queen Talk Show. We always comment and we communicate and we talk about whatever, so go ahead and share this video on tonight. I'm going to give y'all just a little bit of time to go ahead and start sharing, to come in to this room. It's going to be good. We're going to be talking about mental health. And so we want each and every one of you to come in with us to really go in and talk about this issue, because it is something that is really going on right now in the world. We've been experiencing it. I will tell you this here recently, we were at our school, I stuff at the school, and we had an experience where we had like a little mini, not shutdown, but restricted movements, I would say. And it's because we had someone that was an active shooter somewhere in our nearby county. And so since they couldn't find the guy, they went ahead and put us on, restricted movement. And it was kind of, rather scary, because it was like 30 minutes away. And then he shot some deputies, killed, some people along the way. And then here it is, he was at large. And so people right now are dealing with mental health issues, and we don't know, what people are dealing with. We don't know. We are thinking that someone was just born with mental issues, but we got a woman of God that's going to really educate us on some things about mental health issues. You could be the next one that will have some mental issues, because maybe you experienced some form of trauma and things like that, and you're just thinking that, oh, not me. I don't have any mental issues. But if you experience any form of trauma, anything that happened in your life, I'm telling you, in a moment, your life can be turned upside down. It can be turned upside down. So if you will, go ahead and share this video on tonight, because it's going to get really, really good. It's going to be very, very interesting. And we want you all to comment and do as you always do. You always come in, you always comment, but this thing's going to be really, really good. It's going to be tight, but it's going to be right. So I'm excited to introduce the beautiful woman of God, Dr. Trina Brown. You all do not be shy. Do not hesitate to share this room. Do not hesitate to share this, because it's going to be really good. You're going to want your friends, your family members to know about this. And she has a lot of other information that she's going to be sharing with us on tonight. You never know what you're going to be getting. So if you know someone that has some issues, the mental health issues, and think about it, the work we're in right now, with everything how it's going down, we need somebody that got some expertise on mental health. Okay, we need somebody that can really help us to learn more about how do we adapt, how do we handle someone with mental health issues, how do we help them, move around and navigate in life. And what if we've had some trauma and we've experienced it was overwhelming? So that's why we have this morning. God is going to come forth. So I present to some, I'll introduce to others the beautiful Apostle Dr. Trina Brown. Hello, woman of God. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am so excited to have you here with us on tonight. I'm so excited about it. But I know that I've given them a short introduction, but I would love for you to tell us more about you, what you do, what your expertise is, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I am Dr. Trina Brown. I have been in the industry for, I should say, over 30-something years. I've been dealing with mental health for the last 18 years. And so I'm excited to be in and here with you. I'm excited to be on your show to talk about mental health. I'm excited to talk about how we can shift, how we can move into our next, and how to deal with the issues that we're dealing with right now. So thank you for allowing me to come in and share. But I have been dealing with, as I stated, with mental health for several years.
Right.
And so it has allowed me to go into different places, such as, like you said, the schools, such as in nursing homes, talking to family members. And so it allows us to know exactly how to deal with mental health issues. And so when I started doing this, it was because of my sister having early onset dementia and how that was affecting people. So it allowed me to grow from there.
Mm. Yeah. And so that's where I'm telling you, this is what we're talking about when it comes down to, mental health. Listen, I've been sitting here excited about it, and I'm telling my family and friends, y'all get on this live and join, because you're gonna want to be interactive, because I love when they are interactive with us. So I'm excited about this on tonight, because we need as much information as possible. So the first thing I want to tackle is talking about mental and spiritual health. So can you tell us, how do we deal with mental and spiritual health with everything going on in the world? We know things are shifting, things are changing, things are not as it used to be. And we've been getting some information about some stuff going to get a little bit even tighter. So can you give us a little bit of information? How can we deal with that? Mentally, how can we, prepare, for things shifting as it's doing even now? Even though it hasn't shifted fully, but it's on the way. How can we, deal with it? Can you give us some information on different challenges we should be,
Yeah,
looking forward to?
Yeah, let's dive into this. And so when we're dealing with it from a spiritual perspective, right, we know that God knows all things. God will give us the direction that we need, right?
Right.
But when we look at it from a natural perspective, how do we deal with day-to-day living, right? How do we adjust to some things? And how do we deal with it from a mental, like you said, from the schools shut down to going to work and dealing with coworkers, dealing with daily life issues, right? How do I keep my sanity? How do I keep from going insane, I should say? And how do I keep myself from getting to a place where I end up losing focus of everything? And so what you have to do is start to adjust some things. And what does that look like for you? For some people, it might be adjusting their prayer time, adjusting the people that they're around, the negativity that comes in their life, how to make sure they get rid of some of those things, negative thinking, stinking thinking, I call it, because some people that comes around you will bring their stuff, and you become the garbage truck. Right? So they dump everything on you. So compile that with what you're dealing with, and compile that with other things. It becomes an ongoing issue, because now you're weighted. And the Bible talks about lay aside every weight, right?
Come on.
It's at you. And so if I'm weighted with my cares, and then I got my family cares, and then I got my coworkers' cares, then now I'm just walking around with a bunch of bags on me. And so I'm not free to be who I need to be. And so eventually it becomes cloggy to my memory. It starts to have problems with the way I think, the way I be productive. And so all of a sudden, I'm not productive in my work. I'm not productive. I'm not being productive at who I need to be, because now all of a sudden I'm looking at the issues, and the issues outweighing the things that I need to be dealing with. And so grief is another way. If people are dealing with grief, dealing with the loss of a loved one, that's another factor. How do you deal with it in the mind from getting to that place? Because now I'm dealing with the heart issue because I lost someone, but mentally I'm still dealing with the emotion. And then I still got to go to work. I still got to take care of my daily activities. I still got to take care of my family. So it becomes a balance. And that's because the scale can be weighty sometimes. And so when you look at the scale, it looks like you're unbalanced, right? And because the thing about being unbalanced, if I'm unbalanced, then I'm not walking in the thought of what I need to become health-minded, healthy thinking, allow me to be clear of what I do, how I do it, when I do it. I hope that answered some of your questions.
Yes, ma'am. I just thought about something. And I have a list of notes here. I can show you the paper for my notes. I have 2 sheets of paper with notes, but something just clicked in my mind. So would you say that mental health can affect your physical health? Can it cause, heart problems, organ issues, high blood pressure, sugar diabetes? Can your mental affect your physical?
Yes.
Okay.
It definitely can, because if I'm mentally unstable, eventually what's in me start to kill me, right?
Ooh.
And so if I'm unbalanced and so I'm deteriorating from the inside out, it's just like something that's rotten inside of you, right? And out of a sudden, if I'm eating something and it becomes rotten, eventually you got to let it out. So either it's going to come out of your bowels or you're going to throw it up or whatever, because it's tearing you up on the inside. And so sometimes life could be so bombarded with everything. You're stressed out about all these things. And so eventually, if it's so weighty and it's starting to eat you on the inside, it causes problems with your liver. It causes problems with your kidneys. All of a sudden you have high blood pressure. Now you're on dialysis. Now I'm dealing with all these issues. And so it becomes a snowball effect. And so it leads on to early onset of dementia. It leads on to other issues. And I haven't even got into that side of it. Because one thing about it, medication is not to be something that you consume all the time. It's just a remnant for a certain period of time. But what we have gotten to is that we don't change our lifestyle, so we continue to be on the medicine, because most people can get off of high blood pressure medicine. They can get off of diabetes medicine if they start to condition their body and condition their mind to eat correctly or live correctly, right? In a healthy lifestyle, right? And so what that does, if I'm not healthy mentally, if I got all these weights, I don't feel like taking care of myself. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like going up and doing any exercise, because all of this is causing me to feel like I can't live anymore.
Wow. Ooh, see, that's the thing right there. Because if you are healthy mentally, that means that if you I want to ask you, what does a healthy mind, when you're healthy mentally, what does that look like? And how does that, what does that look like? We'll stop right there. I don't want to put too much on you at one time.
When a person is healthy in their mind, they have clarity, right?
Right.
Your dreams become more reality, right? Your ambition becomes more of a drive, right? And so when I'm healthy, then that means that I'm starting to think of the outcome of what's extended to me, right? And how to live an abundant life. That's why the Bible said that, and that He wills for us to have life and that more abundantly. What does that mean? The abundance of having something, and now that will lead me to my next, right? And so when I'm healthy, I'll be able to see things. I'll be able to become, and I tell our people all the time, health comes before wealth. HW, right? And so if I'm healthy in my thinking, it allows me to be creative. It allows me to be able to have that passion. It allows me to be healthy in the way I talk, the way I act, the way I live. Because if I'm not, and this is where you have to go back and dissect some things and ingest some things. Because sometimes, I don't know if you ever had heartburn, and it sits right here on the top of your chest, right? It's like nothing wants to go down, it wants to come back up. But the thing about it is, if I'm healthy, it's easy for me to digest some things. It's easy for me to look at life and say, this too shall pass. It's just a storm sometimes. It's just something to get me to my next. And so it's how I'm processing it will allow me to understand that if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Because if I wallow in it for too long, it becomes a creature of habit. It becomes a bad thing. But if I allow that to be something to motivate me, push me, then it's just a stepping stone to my next.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for that, because I just had to get that out. I'm telling you, it's not on my notes. So that's why I love just going by what God, what Holy Spirit gives me. So I have with mental health. How do you deal with anxiety, like when you experience forms of anxiety? Because some people don't even know that they're having anxiety attacks. They don't even know what anxiety is. They just know they're feeling anxious, jittery, easily upset, sensitive, and things of that nature. So can you tell us how you deal with anxiety, and maybe even tell us how do you know that it's anxiety?
Good point. Good. I can tell you, for example, when I was dealing with grief with the loss of my dad and certain things, I had anxiety. And it took me a while to adjust to it, because I knew that it was something that I had to get through the next, right? And so I had to deal with what I was dealing with. So I had to identify it. And so when you know it's anxiety, identifying what that is, what caused that, what triggers that. I talk about triggers all the time. There's certain things that trigger things to happen in your life. And so when I was dealing with that, it caused me to deal with a lot of anxiety in regards of me looking and reflecting about my childhood, looking and reflecting about things of how our relationship was. And that created me to have anxiety because it was some things that I should have done. You had the shoulda, couldas, right? Especially when you're dealing with grief. And that helps you to understand that that's a form of anxiety that you have to deal with, because now you have to start writing it out. You have to start talking it out, talking to a therapist, talking to someone, because you have to get rid of it because it become weighty. And so I had to learn how to talk to certain people about what I was feeling. And when I lost my dad and why I felt that way, because then I started thinking about why I didn't have enough time to say certain things. Even though we started having that relationship, I didn't go back and start looking at my childhood. Even if it's not your dad, it could be your mom, it could be a sibling, it could be anyone, it could be a child, whatever that is, you have to identify that. And then from just an anxiety of getting out of the house, COVID caused a lot of anxiety, right?
Right.
People did not want to leave their house because they were afraid that some things was going to happen if they go out of the house. So the anxiety, the panic attacks of if I go out, going into a place that had no windows or had no open ventilation, because it was an anxiety place, right? So you have to look at those things. What does that trigger? And how do anxiety get you to that place? And so when you look at that, because all of us, everybody was dealing with COVID and thinking, how do I get out of the house? Do I go out of the house? What does that look like going back to work? Or does that look like going back and being in the normal, right? And so you have to look at, and our children, especially being in the school as yourself, children dealt with anxiety just even going back to school, especially if they had lost loved ones at one time. And then they go back to school and now they don't have their grandparents, or they lost a sibling, or they lost somebody due to COVID. It's the emotional part of that. How do they adjust to that? So you have to allow people to talk some things out, talk about those things. And we don't talk about it enough. I don't think so, because the more I talk about it, I'm releasing and untying the web that I created, because anxiety causes you to cause a tightness, and it allows you to be so connected to that pressure that you don't become free, and not all of a sudden you're quenched. I don't know if you ever had a person that you was having muscles tense, and your muscles were tense, and you had to go and massage them, and towards until you got that deep tissue massage, the muscles would constantly cringe and go back and forth. And so because of the tension causing the muscles not to relax, that's another form of anxiety, because a tightness is causing you not to be free in the areas that you need to be. So it's a lot behind anxiety. And so when you look at that, what's causing it? What is the triggers? Certain people, certain things cause an anxiety. Some people don't like going out to the water. Certain people don't like doing certain things because their first thing, they have a panic attack.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we're looking at anxiety, we have to look at it from, like, right now, everybody is walking on eggshells if you're listening to the news.
Right.
The last 10 days have been unbearable for some people, because they don't know if they're going to have a job. They don't know, like I'm telling you, the price of eggs are going up. The price of this is going up. All these different things are going happening, and it's causing more anxiety. So the pressure of anxiety is causing more things to happen, not only within the house, but outside the house, because I'm having anxiety based off of whether or not I'm going to be able to keep this job. Right? Because the job, the corporate America is shifting, government is shifting, some contracts are shifting, federal government is shifting every day. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, am I going to have a job when I get up in the morning? How do I keep? And that's why we got to lay aside the fear, right? We can't be fearful, right? And so we have to be able to have a balance, pray about everything, seek the Lord about everything, but understand how to know my triggers. And the signs of, someone said a sign of anxiety is the racing of the heart. So, the fluctuation of the sweat tension. Some people have sweaty nights. Some people have cotton mouth. They can't get enough water. These are some things that show triggers in regards of anxiety, because when my heart is racing, that means that I'm panicking. I've got something going on within me, right? Or having the shakes. stumbling over the words, or not wanting to get up out of the bed. These are signs.
Oh, wow. So I would have thought not wanting to get out of the bed was depression. So
No,
that's so,
this
okay.
see that the reason why I say it's anxiety, because now I have to be productive in an area where I don't know about, and so that's a trigger of two things. It could be an anxiety and it can be depression, but it triggers from anxiety, because depression can be triggered from anxiety as well. So the anxiety can trigger depression. And so, for example, and the reason why I say that, let me be real clear for some of you all, because when a person is having an anxiety attack, it causes some people to isolate, right? Some people want to stay at distance because what I'm fearful of, I don't want to have reality of. And so now I become depressed. If I'm supposed to go out and be around people, now I'm calling myself to be withdrawn. And now I'm going into within a shell, which causes a depression.
Oh, wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So if I'm not wanting to get up out of the bed, I could be having anxiety because I got to go to work. Now I'm fearful about what, because some people say, oh, have you ever had those people say, well, oh, it's Monday. Girl, it's the weekend is over already. Because now that reality is I'm getting ready to go to work. And so now I've got to put myself in the position to be productive, to do the things I need to do or whatever. And so now the panic of, now I'm thinking about what's on my desk. Now I'm thinking about my to-do list. I'm thinking about the tasks that I got to get done. And so all that stuff causes all these pressures of anxiety. And now I just want to just stay up under the covers and not get out.
Wow.
I just want to put my head up under the covers because I don't want to come out of. I want it just to go away.
Wow. Can you tell us? Okay, let me see. So I do have. Okay, we talked about panic attacks, strokes, anxiety. Okay, so so anxiety and panic attacks. So how do the difference?
The thing about it is, those are some of the similar signs. Anxiety and panic attack have similarity. If you was to look at the difference between the two, if you was to write anxiety and panic attack right beside each other, you will pretty much come up with the same clause or the same wording of what it is, because my panic attack will be triggered by those certain things. And so it looked like they're the mirror image of the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Because there's certain panic attacks that triggers the anxiety, and there's certain anxiety, so when I'm having an anxiety or panic attack, is based off of what's going on within me, and so I'm hyperventilating. I'm kind of having an anxiety of what that is, and so it's the triggers. I keep saying the word trigger because trigger triggers different things, and it can be an anxiety attack or it can be a panic attack, and it's because of the thing that's triggering it, which allows you to put it in the category. This is a panic attack. This is an anxiety attack, because the trigger of it could be, if you say, for example, some people eat certain foods, and they have certain attacks from it, right? And so it's based off of what happens based off of, for example, peanuts. And they have a panic attack because it calls certain things within their body to shut down, right? Have you ever had somebody that say, well, I can't eat peanut butter, I can't have, because they have nuts, and so everything starts to close up. And so now I'm panicking because I can't figure out how to stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm panicking based off of I'm eating something, and now I'm having that panic attack because now I know something is wrong.
Wow. Ooh, okay. And so with the anxiety, because I know I've had some form of anxiety, or thinking about this happening, that happening, bills, how this bill is going to get paid, food, only working a few days, and the bill collector's calling at this point, the threatening, and it's with everything going on right now. I cannot even imagine people, working at a job and they got these humongous bills, a mortgage, car note, insurance, and they've lived this lifestyle. And now here it is, in the next few months, they may not have the job. And it's going to be not as easy to find another job that's going to pay them, but they would get to pay for that one job every month. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, with those things that they happen, then you're going to have people started to do some really weird stuff that we call weird, you know, because they are desperate, or they are about to lose them. You could be in a grocery store, you could be in a fast food in the line, you know, and waiting to get your food. And because they're angry because of what's going on with them personally, they can take it out on you. Road rage, all sorts of stuff. Like that's going to be the panic too. You know, there's so much that people are dealing with. So with things shifting and changing like that, what would be some of the things that, you know, we can do to try to avoid it, you know, to help us so that we don't have those panic attacks,
right, or anxiety attacks. And it is evidence that a lot of people that have these certain figure jobs or have a government job and have a mortgage to pay, and they've been getting notices in the last couple of weeks that they have to take care of, they're going to have a layoff, right? And so with that being said, because they're going to be losing their job, the anxiety of sleepless nights. First thing, the person that have anxiety is a lack of sleep.
Right.
They don't sleep well. Their pattern is off.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, their brain don't settle. Their brain don't stop thinking of how do I get out of this? Do I need to go get another job? Do I need to go and be a Uber driver? Do I need to go? What do I need to do? Do I need to start a business? How do I? Because their thing is, I gotta survive. Their panic becomes survival. And so now my panic drives me to survival for some people. And so now I do desperate things, like you said, and that's where people start to go in and steal out of stores and do all these crazy things, and because they're in a panic, because they can't see themselves going through another bad situation. And like we did with COVID, you know, people were going in stores because they didn't know what was happening. And so we have to be mindful, and that's why I was saying yesterday or last night, I did a prayer room, and I talked about how to be strategic in what you pray for, right? How to be strategic and how you pray, because sometimes we just pray amiss, right? The Bible talks about praying amiss. And so now I have to be strategic, that I pray that God will give me the mind to withstand the storm, but also the mind to handle certain things, and give me the ability, allow me to be able to be talented. As he said, if a man lacketh wisdom, he'll give it to him freely, right? So God, whatever it is that I need to sustain me and my family, send it. It's from the north, the south, and the west, right? I'm commanding my blessings. If you're spiritual, you know how to command your blessings. I pull it from the north, east, south, and the west. I command my blessings, my presence. And you command what's in your future to come in your presence. I talk about this all the time, because what happens is that my past is my past, but I'm in my present. A lot of people are dealing with what's the present time, the moment, at this moment. But I know that there's a greater future, right? And so he said, your greater works will be done, right? And so the thing about it is, I have to start to speak to my future. That's why we manifest things. We call things into existence, right? And so in this time, our language should be manifestation time, right? We should start manifesting. We shouldn't just be praying about anything. We pray for the government, but we have to be strategic on how we pray. The Lord told me last night that people are praying, doing a lot of 40-day fasting and all these things, but they're not strategic, because you have to be strategic on how to pray, right? And so when I'm praying, I'm not praying just for the president. I'm praying for the mind of the president, because he's a double. The Bible talks about a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And right now he's one thing and doing another. That's a double-minded man. And so now I have to pray for his mind to be renewed. I have to pray for him for the enemy to get out of the areas of sabotaging our systems, because that's what they're trying to do. So it's a lot going on. And so when we talk about anxiety and how to deal with it, first of all, we have to look at all walks of anxiety. from our family to our children to the job, because you got, for example, if you were working on a job and your boss is dealing with anxiety, first thing he do is he brings it to the workplace. And
Yeah.
so it becomes a ripple play. So now he have an attitude, and now all of a sudden the coworkers are having an attitude. Everybody walking around mad at everybody. Nobody's working. So everybody's having these problems because of one person's anxiety. And so because he's having these problems, so just imagine people that's getting ready to lose their jobs. Now their house, because that what's going on outside is affecting the house. Because they're bringing it home, they're bringing it back to the children. So now they're telling the kids, get in the room, I won't deal with you, because they're dealing with stress. And so now our children become victims of what's going on in society.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Who else becomes the victim is the teacher. So now they're going to bring it to the schools.
Right. Yep.
And so see how it's a snowball effect.
And then when they bring it to the schools, to the teachers, it's going to be hard for them to teach.
Right.
Because the children are not going to be focused. They're going to be distracted. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to be emotional. And while the teacher is trying their best to teach, they got this child over here that's dealing with these issues, that parents about to lose their home, not working, not being able to travel, get back and forth to work, cars breaking down, but don't have the money to get the vehicles fixed and so on and so forth. It is a lot. Oh my goodness. So can you tell us, what are the signs of depression? So we had Sister Johnny, she was saying, about anxiety and things like that. It seems like something that she definitely can relate to, especially, with some things that has occurred in her life recently. So when we're talking about anxiety, what about when, like you said, it can go to depression? Like, what are the signs that we should look for in recognizing, the signs of depression? Is it people pulling away, not wanting to come out the house, not wanting to be around people, not wanting to communicate, crying a lot? Do you get upset when you're depressed?
Triggers.
Like, what are some of the signs that we should look for to know that someone is depressed?
And the biggest thing is the isolation. And also the communication, how they're communicating with you, what they're saying, what words are they saying, and then also when they start to withdraw from everything, and so those are the main signs. And then the lack of eating. Then when they don't have an appetite, they don't want to be motivated to eat. Not motivated to do anything. Those are the main signs. And then the anger comes up. Depression brings anger, because they become angry of why they can't figure it out. And so because they can't figure it out, they become angry about certain things that's confiding them, because they know that there's something better, but they don't know how to get to it.
Right. So I think I've been there. I think I've been the angry, depressed person. Because I always thought that depression, you were sad, wanted to cry, things like that. So, but I never thought that.
You're just mad. You're mad at it, because it could be to the point where that there's something better, and you're angry with yourself. You're angry with the situation, and so it becomes like, how come I can't get out of this funk? Why is it still? Why am I like this? What is it? And so then this is when you start to evaluate where you are, and you start to evaluate the things that you've been through. Some people been through molestation. Some people been through abuse. Some people and so certain triggers. Bad relationship. For example, you broke up with someone, or your family member stopped talking to you, or someone brought up some bad things, and all of a sudden it's a trigger. I don't know. Have you ever been around somebody and you used to smell somebody? I tell people, like the single women, I used to do this when I did a conference. I say, you smell a cologne, and all of a sudden it remind you of your ex, because that's the same cologne he used to wear, right? And so now all of a sudden there's a trigger. So all of a sudden you all angry all over again, because now you remember some of the things. You remember the bad things and the good things, right? And so now you're going to take it out on your husband that you're married to now, because you was just in a restaurant and you smelled. You see what I'm saying? And so it's lead to certain things. And now he's like, why is she all mad? So for a week, you ain't talking. Because sometimes, sometimes depression don't have to be one of those long drawn out months, whatever. It could be within a 3-4 day period that you will. Because see, some people would think that depression is a major, a long term pattern, right? But it can be spots of depression, right? Because it's like, well, for example, I could be depressed and then it builds up to be a long term, but it can be start off to be something small, and because I didn't take care of that small thing, it becomes long.
That's good. This gonna help somebody, because they probably was just like me, thinking that when you're depressed, you're walking around crying all the time, you're super sensitive, you don't want to be around anyone, you're just tired and sleepy, or you don't want to eat, or you overeat. They probably never thought that, oh, I'm angry and I'm mad. You're like, I think you're probably depressed. And you run people off, all kinds of awful stuff.
Because you're running people away, and it's and I had to think about it. I said, why are they angry? And it's because they're dealing with the emotions within them, right? And so when you're dealing with emotions, you got to find out where that come from. And sometimes it come from a place of depression, come from a place of not knowing, come from a place of anxiety. So it's those three things: panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. It can really build a person to a place where they sit and want a wilder away. It's just like they don't know how to live anymore.
Oh.
Because it starts off small, and next thing you know, well, I ain't no use of me living. I might as well go on. Have you ever heard people say, well, ain't no use of me staying around. They don't love me anyhow, and I might as well go on ahead and get it. Why? That's depression.
Right.
Based off of some anxiety, based off of a lack of communication that was triggered based off of something that happened.
Wow. Let me ask you this. What do you say to people who do not go or deal with mental health? A lot of people, they won't go and seek help. Some people don't think anything is wrong with them. So what would you say? What would you say to them?
I am a counselor. I am a certified counselor as well, a Christian counselor. And I love the Lord with all my heart, right? But I know that there's a balance. Even Jesus had counselors. He said, if you lack in certain things, even in the Bible, it talked about getting sound counseling. It talked about going and talking to the elders and people. And so sometimes we don't realize that talking to people free you up. You have to go to someone that know how to receive it, because you don't want to dump everything on somebody, but you want to have the right people that can give you solutions, help you through the process. We know a person that I know, I come in her room a lot on Clubhouse, and we talked about her all the time. I go to her, I have certain people for certain things, right? You have certain people that you can talk to about your issues or where you're at and what level are you on. And so it helps you, like when you go and deal with certain different levels of anxiety, depression, whatever. And like I said, it stimulates from the mental side of it. And so when you get to deal with mental depression and all of these things, but the main thing with me is how do you talk to people, especially like I said, when I was dealing with my sister who had early onset dementia, I didn't know how to deal with that. So I was dealing with a lot of anxiety because I knew that her care depended on me. What she was dealing with depended on me. And so because I had to make sure I did everything according to making sure she had an extended life, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety personally because her life was in my hands per se. And so when you look at it from that perspective, that becomes another weight. And so anxiety can trigger those things. And so I had to really talk to people. I had to go to talk to certain family members. And so some of them didn't understand. So I had to go and talk to people that was relatable. I got into groups that were dealing with the same issues because we love the Lord, but we have to, I can't. Listen, this is my favorite saying is that I can't be so holy that I'm no earthly good, right? And so need to know, how do I deal with this? because I'm looking at my sister who was vibrant like me, and last 18 months of her life, she was laying there and she couldn't say a word. I had to read her lips or look at her eyes to try to understand what she was saying, because her mind was gone based off of disease. And so mentally, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. That's why I can talk about these things and talk about different levels of how to deal with it, because I didn't know who to talk to. And I had to talk to doctors. I had to talk to people for my own self, because it was bad. It was literally, the doctors were telling me I need to be on high blood pressure medicine. I didn't realize that I at the time, I think I don't have no high blood pressure medicine. I don't need to be on high blood pressure medicine, but I did it. Then I eventually had to get off of it, because I had willed myself back to being healthy. And so I had to lose weight. I was walking around gaining weight because I was so concerned about her that I forgot about me. Literally, I gained over 100 pounds.
Oh,
So that's a part of anxiety, dealing with depression. And so when people say, well, I don't understand, you don't understand. Some people are dealing with anxiety every day. And then with everything that's going on in these last 10 days, people don't know if they're going to have a job. People don't know what's going to happen. It becomes a weight.
yeah. My goodness. I do want to ask a little bit more about the onset of dementia. How do you know that someone is, dealing with the onset of dementia, and what are some of the signs?
Wow. For me, I'm gonna say this. For my sister, she got it in her 40s. She was in her late 40s, and that's why I'm a strong advocate of early onset. Hers came from a chemical imbalance for dealing with menopause. So she was going through menopause, which most women do, and she was on a high stress job working for IBM in North Carolina. And so the doctor had put her on an antidepressant. Between the menopause, dealing with the antidepressant, and just dealing with life, being a mother, taking care of family, taking care of my mom at the time, and her mother-in-law, all these things compound onto depression, anxiety, and it triggered a chemical imbalance. And so she ended up having a chemical imbalance, what cause frontotemporal dementia, and that's the front lobe of your brain. And so, like movie stars, like different movie stars have it right now. The one that I can't think of his name off my head, but there's several ones that are dealing with it. So there's 10 type of dementia. And a lot of people, when you hear dementia, they don't understand that there's Alzheimer's, there's frontotemporal, there's the ones that deal with people that just alcoholics. That's another form of dementia. So there's so many different things. But for women of African American or women, period, our body goes through a stage of menopause, right? And when you go through menopause, our hormones, our body start to change. And when you're taking certain medication, it become a chemical imbalance. And so with me, we didn't recognize it until my sister, like she said, she was in her 40s, she was outgoing and doing everything, but we started noticing that she was doing too much, paying her bills more. She sent off, she lived in North Carolina. She sent $500 to pay a bill that was only $80. So she was just writing checks, and so doing certain things that was abnormal. And then her job recognized that she wasn't remembering certain things, because she was not remembering how to handle things. It was not like you don't remember where your keys is at, but sometimes frontotemporal or early onset comes from a lack of remembering things, trigger different words, how to pronounce words, how to say different things. That's an early onset. That's early onset. And it can be helped in the early stages. That's why it's called early onset. But if you wait too late, then you have more problems. Then it becomes more involved. But when you start dealing with it, that's why people are taking certain medications. Beets, I talk about beets. I'll tell you what type of foods to eat that will feed the brain, how to get the sleep, lack of sleep, while you talk about anxiety and depression and all those things. If your body is not getting the oxygen it needs, your body replenishes itself every night. Every night, your body is supposed to shut down and allow the blood to replenish. So that's why when first thing in the morning, when you get up and drink a glass of water, you go straight to the bathroom. Your bowels are supposed to move first thing in the morning because it's a detox. It cleanses the body and allows you to release. Every day, you're supposed to be going to the bathroom in the morning, not before you eat food, not after you eat food, but before you eat food. You drink some water, put some water in your system because your brain and the oxygen every night is replenishing the blood cells. So you're supposed to wake up, like I told you about the peppermint. And I do have my peppermint. I did bring the peppermint, and I'm not going to show the whole bottle, but and this is what I was telling you that about the peppermint is that you take this peppermint and I'm gonna fix my screen here, and you just take the peppermint and put it in your hand, and you dap it in your hand, and you just rub your hands together like so. I don't know if you can see it. And then after you do that, you put it up to your nose. You don't put it all the way up to your face. You put it about right here, midway to your face, and you cup it and you just breathe. 10 deep breaths every morning. 10 deep breaths every morning will allow the body and the brain to hear, to the blood to flow. I'm like just now, I'm just putting it in. It opens your sinuses, it opens your pathway, it allows you to breathe, it allows your brain, and it stimulates the brain flow. Peppermint is good for you. That's why first people would get sick. They say, "Oh, I'm gonna give me some peppermint tea. I'm gonna get a peppermint." And I used to laugh because remember the old people used to have peppermint in their purse, and peppermint was a big thing for them, right? Because peppermint was a thing that not only was it a sweet for diabetes, but it also was a trigger to re-stimulate the blood flow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just candy.
Just do some research on peppermint, but early onset is a big thing for me. I am an advocate for it. I've been an advocate for it said my sister. It's been since 2002. When she starts showing the signs, but by 2003, 2004 is when they made the diagnosis and I'm an advocate because the healthcare will not pay for anything until you're fully diagnosed. They don't do prevention. No healthcare. None in the United States will pay for that. They don't pay for early prevention. You have to go through the process and then they will pay for that. After you've been diagnosed with the symptoms, not the preventions. They want you to have it first.
Wow. Well, by that time, it's not too late.
But by that time, then it's more of a fight. It's more of trying to get, and the numbers for African American women are higher than African American men, and more. And so the two statistics that we know of that I did research on is that Caucasian men have high numbers as same as African American female minority, African American, and a Caucasian man's go into early onset quicker than a Caucasian woman and an African American man. Why is that? And a lot of people say, why is that? Because African American women are always going, they're always busy, they always take care of home, and so their blood flow, and they're always taking care of others instead of themselves. And it allows the blood, and so they start having the early onset and more signs of their body going through. Caucasian men are head winners. They're the household winners. So they take care of the house. And so they'll work the long hours. They'll do all those things because that's their pattern. And so they be done to have early onset. And these are statistics. This is at a database out of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. This is some of the things that they have researched and found out that Caucasian men and African American women's numbers almost similar when it comes to early onset of dementia.
Wow.
So it's a lot when it comes to mental health and early onset. It can be reversed if you check it, if you get it early, get it done early enough and check it early enough. Look at the signs, like you said. I tell people all the time, eat certain things. I do beets. I don't do beets where I take the beet supplements. So I'll go into Walmart and get the gummy beets or do the powdered beets. Beets is a good thing for your brain. And so do that. Any kind of peppermints, any type of dark chocolate, antioxidants, anything with antioxidants that cleanse the blood, allows the blood to flow, get rid of the inflammation in the blood. Those are things like peppermint. And so those are things that that you need to look into. Trust me, it helps.
It helps. My goodness. So, how can we reach you? Like, to know more about what you're doing so we can follow you? Like, what are your taglines so we can, because I know you have a clubhouse room. So tell us how we can, how often you go on Clubhouse, how we can get, to follow you on Facebook so we can learn more about this, just in
Oh,
case
yes.
someone else want to come and get you as a speaker to learn more about what you're doing. They may want me to bring you back and ask some more questions. So how can we reach you?
I am on Clubhouse. I am on Apostle Dr. Trina Brown. And then I am on Instagram under Dr. Trina Brown. And then I am on Facebook up under Trina Brown. And so I'm on TikTok. I do have I have two business pages. And we have a Neuro Pathic Trainers page where I talk about the foundation, which is talk about early onset of dementia. And it talks about the different types of dementia. And then I have Data Civility, which is talking about statistical studies. And I work in regards of getting statistical studies through the university, through HBC. Basically, I do biomedical through HBC schools out of North Carolina. I'm actually, next week, I'll be going to Maya Angelou's center to speak to someone in regards of doing some things with them, which a lady that I partnered with a couple of years ago. I'm connecting with that relationship. And so those are some of the things. And then you can always reach me at Dr. Trina Brown, #7 at Gmail. Then you have my number that you can reach me at as well. So I'm out there. I'm excited about some things that I have been doing and going to be doing. You can reach me at Empowering Kingdom Vision at Gmail as well. That is one of our for our ministry. We will be doing some things with that this year as well. We just had a conference in November. We're having it again in November of this year. We'll be, and that's that's Empowering Conference. Is basically health, wealth, and prosperity. So Friday night we'll be talking about healthcare. So we will have people like myself, other people of what we did last year. We had a panel discussion. And so we talked about different levels of healthcare on Friday. And then on Saturday, we talked about wealth. What that looked like, how to build the wealth, because like I tell you, H come before W. So I wanted to make sure that we talk about your health, because it don't make sense to be wealthy and you're not healthy and you lose everything. Right? And so that Friday is health, and then Saturday is wealth. And then on Sunday, we talk about prosperity. We're putting the dates together. We know that it's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's at the AC by Marriott in Florida. So we will be having it there. We're looking at November the 7th, 8th, and 9th. We're just confirming that date. And then in April of this year, we will be going to Uganda, Kenya, and Botswana. And so Burundi. I'm sorry, Burundi, Uganda, Kenya, and Burundi. I will go to Botswana next year, but we'll be going to Uganda, Kenya, and Burundi in April the 7th through the 19th. We will be in 6 schools. We'll be going to 6 schools, 2 orphanages. We'll be going and doing community outreach. At this time, we're looking for sponsors. So if anyone is interested in sponsoring us, we're taking and giving 1,200 pennies over there. As I was speaking to you before, young girls don't, personal hygiene is different than here, where we will have maxi pads and different things. They have to have reusable pennies because they can't dispose of those things over there in these countries. And so we are going to take 1,200 reusable pennies and give out to the young ladies and the single moms. so they can have those. And then we're going to be giving some things to the schools. So our goal is to raise up to $5,000 to $7,000 to take some things over there, especially now that the U.S. aid is pulling out. We want to make sure that we have leaving them enough stuff for the year until we go back the next year. We'll be sending over some care packages. We'll be buying the dry milk and the rice. When we get there, we'll go to the market and buy the big 15-pound bags of rice. So we're buying the rice and the dry milk so they can have milk and rice and different things. So those are the things that we're looking to do as well. So we will be there for that. So I'm excited about that. And so you can decide if you want to reach out to me. I will give you my number. Let me give you my business number as well for that. So if you want to say, I want to sow into that, I will give you the phone number to call, and then you can call that number to want to sow. But if not, then you can definitely reach out to us through other means of connection. So our business line that you can reach out to us at is, give me a second, I've got to go back. It's going to be 240-718-8726. And that's 240-718-8726. And that's the number that they can reach me in regards of sewing, in regards of ministry, in regards of wanting to get connected, or they can go through my IG, my Instagram, and back channel me and call me through Instagram or Facebook. So that's a little bit about what we're doing. I'm excited about it. And thank you so very much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I'm excited to come back and tell you about our trip to Africa and share with the people what we're doing. And I have a call on tomorrow morning. I got to send out the Zoom call with the president of Uganda's administrative office. They're going to be on the Zoom call with us. And so next year, we're wanting to build an orphanage campus as well, for like a school. And then we want to bring in water. So we want to build out some wells. We want to build out 2 wells.
So, okay. So I would love for you to definitely come back and bring some pictures and have a video or something that we can see, you all's work and what y'all done and things like that. I would love to be able to bring you back to interview you so you can show us all the beautiful things that y'all did while y'all were away. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. I would love it. So
then also I'm going to be with you in October. So that's the other thing. So I will be in Jasper, Florida with you in October the 4th. So I'm excited about that. And we'll talk more about healthcare and health issues and trafficking and all those good things that we can prevent and help educate the people on.
Now, that's what I'm looking forward to is a child trafficking. So I'm telling you all, y'all, if you all have not, watched this video, share it. Watch it from the beginning. See what this beautiful woman of God is doing. I'm telling you, she's doing some amazing things. She's only telling y'all just a little bit of what she's doing. This is just a tad bit of what she's actually doing. But she's doing a lot of stuff, a lot of things, and it's amazing. But if you all want to support her mission as she's getting ready to go into Africa, she's going into those countries and these missions and things like that. This is her business number for you all to if y'all want to support, y'all want to sponsor, you want to give, if you want to go. I don't know. But this is her number. Reach out to her.
We will take more people. We have a team going over there. And if anybody said, well, Dr. Brown, I know it might look late, but listen, it's not too late. We are going over, and they have pretty much brought us in. They're taking care of us, that they're accommodating us in certain areas that we don't have to pay for our hotel. They're accommodating that so they're taking care of that. So we just have to go over there, and it's a blessing. Like I said, I'm truly honored that God chosen me for such a time as this to go over there and help educate the people, bring some things there, and work with the government, work with the churches there, and build out. So I'm excited about going to Kenya because by this time next year I will be in Kenyatta University as being a professor. I was trying to keep that kind of down on the down low, so to say, but I'm putting a program together for Kenyatta University in regards of mental health and how to pivot. So how to pivot through mental health. So that's another piece that I'm working on. So I'm building that out. So I'll be meeting them when I get there in April.
Oh goodness. I listen. I want to know, how do you get there? How's the flight? How far? How long does it take? I want to know everything. I want to know everything. How to get there? What passports you have to have? How was the food, water? Sleep. What are the sleeping arrangements? I want to know everything. So listen, I'm gonna
Yeah, I would love to. Next year, maybe you can come with us. But yeah, it's definitely we're taking next year. We're looking to take more young girls. The goal is to bring more young women over to, and so they, especially those that's in high school or college, because it would be part of their credit. We're asking the school to let that be part of their credit for their senior year or something. And so this will be a way for them to get back to doing some things. So I'm excited about that. So that's going to be our goal, so they can go in and talk to the young girls that's already there.
My goodness. Apostle, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this beautiful opportunity to come and grace the platform with us to share as much information that you have shared on tonight. I wish that we could have had more time to talk about a lot more. But what you said tonight was a whole blessing. Now it gives us something to think about. Mental
Yes.
health, how we could be a help and support to others, how we can help and pray them through and pray the prayer of faith, and what to pray for. Don't pray against our president. Pray for him. Pray for his mind, and pray that he have a balanced mind so he can make better decisions. Amen. So I love it. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Listen, I'm just so grateful. Again, I am excited. I would love to have some of the feedback from the people, because the feedback will allow us to go to the next level. And so I would love to know more of what they are looking for so I can do some research. I am in the process of doing some things with NIH. Like I said, with all these things that have happened, it kind of put some things off. Delay is not denied, right? So there are some delays right now because of what's going on, but that does not mean that things are going to be denied. And so I'm believing, oh my God, don't get me started. But anyhow, I'm believing that God is getting ready to do some things because he's preparing us, because some things have been delayed, but it has not been denied. And so some people are looking for some things. And so even with the mental health, even with the things that they are saying, God, I don't know why my child is acting like this. I don't know why I'm going through these things. But because God hasn't not answered you yet, doesn't mean that he don't care about you. And so because it has not come yet, doesn't mean God has given up on you. Just keep praying and keep believing. Keep the faith, hope upon hope, faith upon faith. Amen.
Amen. There you have it. The beautiful Apostle Dr. Trina. Y'all have to follow her. Make sure that y'all follow her on Clubhouse, follow her on Facebook. Find out what she's doing, where she's at. It's so much information that she have to provide. What she shared on tonight is nothing compared to what she really knows. I'm telling you all. And Apostle, I was in there looking at you. I was like, oh, I can see you doing those little clips of videos of saying you want to know some signs and some things you do for the onset of dementia. I can see you give like little snippets of little messages here and there. And then you want to know why you're feeling this kind of way. That's anxiety. And here's something you can take for. I was like, oh, I can see. I was like, oh my goodness. Anyway, I know y'all got enough for your plate. I know you got enough for your plate. But that's what I was looking at. I was like, oh. I can see.
Well, I'm gonna have to get with you or something. I'm gonna have to get with somebody that can do my wheel, my I don't know if they call it reel or whatever. So I can do some of those things. But listen, I have so much on my plate. So I think I have to talk to my my guy that does my my websites and things. And so I have him doing a flyer for the trip to Uganda. And so I'll have to tell him, I say, well, can we create some of these things? because I listen. I give it to other people to do. I'm like, can you help me with that? Can you help me with this? But I maybe I need to do some little clips of that and say, try this, try that, and put that out there on Instagram and different things. And I haven't even put my agenda out yet for the year. I usually put my agenda out of where I'm doing in 2025. And so I need to put my yearly agenda out because I have some engagements that's going to be out of the state and some out of the country. But I'm trying to be very mindful of the agenda this year because God has me on a strict assignments. And so I don't want to go too far and be going to all these different events. I want to be strategic. If it's about mental health, I have to be strategic in talking about certain things. And so the assignments that are challenging and needing some help on people to make the right decision, those are the assignments that I want to take.
Amen.
Because we've had enough church.
Amen.
We can church. We know how to church real good, but we got to get to the meat of the matter. And we need to help each other build up some things in the kingdom. We have to help each other build up how to know how to maintain our mindset so we can handle the wealth.
Wow. Yes, ma'am, indeed. Amen. Thank you, Apostle. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for coming and gracing our platform and giving us some insight on tonight. I love you. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, when is your next room so I can get on it?
Sunday. Okay. I have a room on Sunday, and then I usually do Thursday night Bible study. So Sunday at 2:30 is my regular service time. And then on this coming Thursday, I'm not going to be on because I'm in travel to North Carolina and South Carolina. But I will be on the following Thursday for Bible study, and I'm going to start a series. And the series are on some things. So I'm getting ready to do a book, and also one more big thing that I'm going to do. I'm looking to do an anthology this year before the conference. And so a big announcement will come out in March in regards to the anthology that we're going to be doing and preparing that for the release to be done in November with the book, with the conference. And so the anthology is talking about kingdom shift. And so because I have been talking about the book, doing it as an individual, and God said, bring some people in and do this as an ongoing series of what type of shifts in the kingdom. And so I might be doing more of that. If not that part, I'm definitely going to do different other things in regards of shifting.
Well, I look forward to whenever you do that on Clubhouse. When after you get the book released and all that good stuff, and y'all start doing some teaching on Clubhouse, I would love to learn more about the shift. Amen. Okay.
Amen.
All right.
I love you. Have a blessed one. You too, hon. God bless you. Love you.
Greetings and welcome to Nubian Queen Talk Show. I am your host, Queen Yolanda Mitchell, and I am thrilled to announce a fantastic opportunity for you to advertise on our program. You can choose either a commercial lasting no longer than a minute or a voiceover in a flyer. Numerous advertisement options are available, and we encourage you to reach out to us via email at nubianqueenmove@gmail.com. That is Nubian, NEWBEING, queenmove@gmail.com. For more information, please take notes of our email address at nubianqueenmove@gmail.com, and we will send you information as soon as possible. We offer you the opportunity to promote your business, upcoming event, ministry, birthday shout out, anniversary appreciation shout out, or any other message you like to get out there. We are excited to work with you to create an effective marketing strategy for you, your brand, and your event at Nubian Queen Talk Show.